Welcome back to Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, episode number 14. Excuse me. This is covering just the 30th episode of the anime, IKelos Familia, King of Atrocity. Yep, this one basically is already into book 10. It adapts, from what I can tell, it's basically adapting chapters 6 and 7, and it seems like they're basically like halfway through chapter 8. Okay, now what happens this episode? Well, mostly put, the episode kind of continues where last week's episode left off, where basically Winnie's companions are killed by the IKelos Familia. Yeah, and the Spider Woman, yeah, it almost seems like they were about to do something to her, like to kill off other people. It seems as though members of the IKelos Familia basically, oh my god, these guys are evil people. It seems like they were trying to rape her. Yes, it seems like these three guys were going to rape her, and she's like, nah, I'm not going to let you do that. So she proceeds to spray acid at these three guys, slice them up, and then she proceeds to put her own hand in her belly and rip out her gem and crush it, killing herself. Winnie, of course, is later taken captive by the IKelos Familia. She's later seen later part of the episode. Yes, and then we cut straight to the Heston Familia house. Now, this is where technically chapter 6 did begin with this particular scene. And then what happens after this is, now in the book itself, there's actually a lot more stuff that happens after he leaves the mansion. Like he basically says he's going to go to a dungeon for a bit to clear his head. Yes, this did happen in the actual book itself. And then, of course, he's automatically in his uniform, and he also runs into Ainz, which she's briefly in this episode. She appears for like 2 very brief scenes. She's seen a little bit more in the book itself. And this one you can obviously see, like, if anybody's read the book, they really cut out some stuff in this episode. Yeah, it's like they cut out like huge chunks of the chapter. So after he talks to her, like while he's talking to her about potentially about other monsters in the dungeon, and all of a sudden an alarm goes off saying, oh yeah, the very area on the 18th floor has been attacked by monsters, basically the Xanatos are attacking Lido. They do this off screen. Yeah, Gross takes a group of Xanatos with him to attack the human settlement on the 18th floor. They don't show this scene. It's just like, oh yeah, this adventurous escaped. So all the familias have to go back to their homes to wait for further instructions. Orichalcos basically, he himself is telling Fels basically, he lost contact with the Xanatos. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Gross destroyed the crystal because what happened with Winnie and her companions. He suspects they might be all dead. Well, he didn't find Winnie's body, but everyone else is dead. So, Lead, of course, basically goes to the 18th floor to try to stop him. Orichalcos basically says, okay, send the Ignatian family to the dungeon to deal with this, and tells Fels, okay, I'm going to give you special instructions. I want you to put Belle into the actual group. Belle's like, okay. And of course, they're also joined by, later on, people are going to go with them is Eister, Hermes, who does briefly appear in the episode. He sends his assistant Ire. They also have Aista, who's from his guild, and of course, Lord. Of course, Aista mentions the Lord that she has a fondness for Belle. Yes, this is hinting the fact she has feelings for him, though it's not explicitly revealed. It's hinted at here, a little more here, but it's not explicitly revealed that she has this until book 14. Yeah. The longest book release of the series. Yeah, I know because I read it. So, despite all the panic going on, we do briefly see the Loki Familia, where basically Loki talks briefly in this episode. First time I actually heard her sub voice. Yeah, this is actually the first time I actually heard it because I don't think I've ever heard of sub actors before. Yeah, this is a first. So, yeah, first time we see the Loki Familia in this season because they clearly weren't in the first few episodes. Nope, they're in this episode because, yeah, I think they're in the book itself. It's been a little... I actually sort of briefly reread the book, so I kind of get a good gist exactly what they skipped over. Yeah, what happened with Belle after he left the mansion, he went to Mamma Mia's and went to Sire, gave him a lunch, gives him a lunch, and plus he was wearing his cloak instead of wearing his armor like he wears in this episode. And of course, well, Hestia gets orders basically to stand by. Plus, she reads the secret message that Bell was basically put in the suppression force. He, of course, asks her, he asks about if else he wants to go. He says, yeah, he wants to go because he's worried about Winnie. And let's see, yeah, with the whole city in panic. So, the episode ends basically Bell in disguise, going with Ganesha to the dungeons for the suppression. I gotta say, it's a bit choppy of what they adapted. I gotta say, what they adapted, they did a really good job here. It seems like a lot of the stuff they cut from this episode seems as though they could have basically could have, if in fact the season had not been Fly Final Line, this season's gonna be 12 episodes. So, I do have this personal theory that this book basically would just take up, as what I saw here, it looks like adapting 2 chapters, plus half of basically chapter 8. So, I had this theory that this arc probably would take, this book would be adapted for just, well, they started to adapt it last week's episode. Yeah, they basically adapted the interlude for last week, and they kind of put it here too. So it's after that, plus 6 and 7, about halfway through chapter 8. And because the fact the book goes to book chapter 10, plus as a epilogue for book 10, I do have the suspicious feeling that this arc probably won't last even 4 episodes. I don't think 2. No, I don't think it'll be 2 episodes. I highly doubt it. So my thinking is that JC Staff probably have this one last for a total of 4 episodes. So they start with this one, and they'll probably wrap up by, I'd say, episode 33. Yes. And then have the remaining portion of the season just take up book 11. That, or the fact that this arc probably will be wrapped up by episode 32, and maybe 33 will basically cover book 11. It's possible, to say the least. Yeah, that's something interesting. Okay, you have the first few episodes, really good pacing with those ones. This one feels a bit rushed, where they kind of basically cut a lot of stuff in the book. But in the case of that, it's mostly a lot of world building. It's not main story stuff. But they did a pretty good job with that. I'm not going to basically chastise the anime for cutting out the thing for no good reason. It's not part of the main story. It's mostly a lot of side stuff in the main book itself. The book itself is over 200 pages long. It's about 300. It's a good lengthy book. But what they did for the episode, I think they did an okay job with it. The episode was still at least good, exciting, good pacing, despite the fact it was a bit rushed for adaptation-wise. But I think overall the episode was pretty good. Okay, so that's it for Single Review. I'm hoping I get a chance to do one more video tonight. I'll probably do it soon anyway. I'm going to watch the episode. And I'll probably review it soon, okay? See you next video. Bye.